Okay, thank you, Ferenc, and I have to apologize because of technical issue. We'll try to solve this during the coffee break. Naš sljedeći govornik je gospodin Đorđe Aks iz Ciska i on će nam reći nešto o hvatanju cyber kriminalaca, tracking the cyber criminals with umbrella system.
Yeah, unfortunately my Serbian is also very weak, so sorry. Dobro jutro, that's all. And first, I would like to speak in English, if you don't mind. So let me introduce myself. I work for Cisco, so I'd like to introduce a very, very important problem to you. You already know very well regarding DNS. So I don't want to go into the technical details now, but what we are doing now is just connecting dots. So do you have any guess what the picture shows? Yeah, so finally a bird, yeah. But in the first view, probably you cannot see immediately. So that's, we need some like artificial intelligence or something a little bit deeper investigation. So regarding my talk, I'd like to introduce this umbrella, very, very short. Regarding the services, it is free of charge. You can use it. You can learn a lot of things from this one. Plus, I'd like to introduce very, very quickly regarding the architecture and regarding the algorithm behind this service. So basically, it provides secure DNS transactions and resolutions. And finally, I'd like to introduce a few examples where we could use this kind of algorithm, so very, very quickly. So regarding the umbrella is it's a free of charge service with this like home users and like parental control, so it's still available as an open DNS. So maybe you heard about Cisco acquired open DNS, and still we are using quite heavily and investing a lot with this open DNS. The name is Umbrella. So based in the Umbrella, we can provide these services. By the way, what do you think about this? The volume of this DNS request. How many times we have like a DNS resolution or DNS request per day? I would say an average user. Do you have any guess? Just think it over how many times you are clicking, open a browser or something. A millions or a billion? Thousands, yeah, it's not a bad guess. Like actually the average user takes like 2,000. So this is not really a bad example. And this is the problem with this DNS resolution. So if you just visit one single site, like CNN.com, we'll open a lot of different portals. Just opening one single portal, you have like 26 different domains, resoluting a lot of other portals and websites as well. So this is quite difficult to even investigate one single site with this one. The problem here with this with the DNS, typical organization don't monitor these DNS requests. This is very huge problem, because this looks like a golden mine. So it is very important for security point of view to investigate, even control it. So therefore, we are doing this one with the umbrella. This is the first layer of security, because just using the DNS protection and DNS resolution and blocking this DNS, it helps a lot in security point of view. So yeah, let me introduce the umbrella very quickly. So here we have like a worldwide service covering like we have different like 30 different towers covering all of the worldwide services with very easy service introduction. So this is just like a global service covering all of these things, and let me show you like why it is important to use it, because if nothing else, just if you use just fast DNS resolution, that's more than enough. I showed the picture. If you see umbrella is the second one, even worldwide point of view. If you think about the Europe, this is also second one. So this is not a big deal, even if you can use it just for the fast DNS server, that is more than enough. That's quite funny. projector, by the way. So regarding the first one, this is Cloudflare. Doesn't provide any security. So that's the problem with this, the number one, because there is no like security enforcement applied here. They are just a quick resolution. And this is just for the European things, and this is quite easy to apply this security countermeasure. So this is just the first step. You need to just change the DNS server configuration on the router, pointing to the server nodes. Here we have IPv4, IPv6 addresses. That's all. Everything else managed through the cloud. So here we have even cloud services through this OpenDNS. You can do this with the parental control and everything with the basic security point of view. So with the visibility, enforcement-wide deployment, you can do a lot of things. Basically, what we have here is two services. One, the name is Umbrella. That's the enforcement point. And there is another one which is called Investigate. Investigate is nothing else, just an open interface to the database. So it's very important. This is a live service. We need to investigate every single DNS request on the fly. So this is not like a static database we could share with you. Therefore, we have like an open interface. So Investigate has like two type of services, like graphical user interface, I will introduce very, very quickly, and there is an API interface as well. So for example, if you want to like block something through this database, you can do a lot of things with these services. So let's continue with the big data. So this is the number of the DNS requests per day we are serving. So just regarding the volume, it is close to 200 billion requests per day for the, the supported customer set. Covering home users, parental users, home user, and enterprise users as well. It represents like 2 or 3% of the worldwide DNS traffic. So it's relatively huge volume. So basically, this is a perfect input just for the database, the machine learning data algorithm. So therefore, we have a huge volume. Just a few numbers. There was like 175 billion per request. Altogether like 90 million active users very, very closely, and now increasing quite heavily. So that was the OpenDNS numbers. After the acquisition of Cisco, increased a lot. So nowadays it's more than 200 billion. So this is how we see the internet request and the internet DNS names and domains. So this is not just the domain names, but we see the file hashes as well. So here we have a sandbox connection. So if the sandbox connection reporting like a malicious domain, we can see it and we can report and we can monitor these ones. Plus the DGAs. DGA means domain generation algorithm results. So this is the new technique of cyber criminals, how they can frequently changing the domains. Quite rapidly changing the domain resolutions and registering totally new domains. And you can even predict if you are quite clever. Okay, so this is what the DNS umbrella can do, is just the recursive DNS services. So if there is a home users or there is a PC, you need just pointing to the DNS request to these services. And of course, it will provide the DNS resolution towards to the other services. Of course, providing additional like security countermeasure, security services and controls. So for example, blocking DNS hijacking, fast flux domains. For example, this is just quite rapidly changing the IP addresses. This is also more than suspicious. So this is typically not a valid service. If you are changing very, very rapidly the IP addresses behind a given domain, this is more than enough. A lot of different algorithms I will cover a little bit later right now. So it looks like a statistical models. Here we have a lot of different PhDs and engineers working 24 hours, defining these malicious activities based on these DNS requests. So a few statistical models I'd like to introduce, but not everything. I'd like to introduce the most important ones. Okay. Yeah, so this is how we see, for example, one given domain, like blackhat.com. So here we see the connection pointing to the other domains as well. So for example, if the user is visiting other domains in the same time, or connection to the other IP addresses, or even ASN numbers, autonomous numbers, and you can see the connection. We lost everything. Maybe I can say jokes or something, but that's funny. If you don't mind, we can switch to the PowerPoint if it is easier. So let's wait a few minutes or few seconds at least. What's a pity, because I just wanted to share with you a very, very nice, techniques, what cyber criminals are doing right now. So even it is very, very useful for you as a user of the laptops and like security victims. So. Yeah. False positive is it's very, very valid question. So every customer can report the false positive on the website, and or engineers and PhD scientists can work on the false positives. Of course, there are false positive, because if you think about that, based on the algorithm, they can of course provide false positive, and of course immediately you can report. Exactly. Plus, there is, I will cover a little bit later if the slide helps me. There is a totally new category which is called newly seen domain. Newly seen domain, as you know, the term explains, it's a new category. So typically, if you think about the very well-known services like Google, Facebook, other services, they don't open every single day different domains, right? So this is typically not every day you are visiting a totally new site. So if typically what they are doing, the cyber criminals, they need to build an infrastructure. So therefore, they are opening quite heavily totally new domains. So one of the very, very good technique is just put everything into the newly seen domain category. If it's totally new, why? Because in this case, you can block it. This is like a temporary container just for this totally new domains. And there was a very, very good example. Do you remember WannaCry? So the WannaCry had like a kill switch. So the kill switch was that a domain was registered as blocking all of the activities. As somebody did it, finally registered this kill switch and blocked everything. With the WannaCry, and that was a perfect an example how we can effectively blocking this kind of new malwares and new cyber criminals activities. Not really. It is totally machine-based services. I wouldn't say machine learning, because if we haven't seen a totally new domain, we put into the a temporary category like newly seen domain. And after 24 hours, I tested with my customer the totally new Hungarian domains, And in 24 hours, we recategorized into the right category. If it is like a shopping, if it is, there is a, like, I don't know, advertisement site, it will be totally automatically categorized. But until this, it's a perfect category matched, we have a full protection.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
What 1 and what 9 actually exist in Serbia? When your umbrella will actually have servers here in Serbia?
That's a good question. I cannot promise anything, but in Europe it's very, very well covered. So if you think about the regarding latency, it is not a problem. Even in Hungary we have customers and they didn't have any problem until now with the latency. So yeah, we can discuss offline. If you have like a good business for us, more than welcome. Okay, so the projector is available now. So well, let me continue